What's up, everybody? Good morning. Back in the saddle, home from vacay. Feels good to be in front of the computer again. How y'all doing? That's better. Music's a little loud. What's up? What's up? How y'all doing today? PPI coming in. Kind of a little turbulence in the morning. Market looking pretty nice and steady. Somewhat of a reaction. Nothing too crazy. Get all my charts here set up. New features coming out all week. New updates. Monthly maps in the first one. How exciting. Ashton had a live demonstration last night of it. It was killer. Thank you guys for being here. Waking up in the morning with us. Love having y'all. Get it right there. Talk to me honestly. I'm here. How bad did you get around your position? Which one? I was only down like 1,000 in this account. Well, what happened was I cut out this is the ETF thing. I cut it out when it was trailing down just because there's a whole system that I use to get your first trade out the door. My real account, I made $9,000. So I didn't cut that one. I held on and I added to it actually. So let's get this going. So small account challenge. It's now close to what, 45,000, something like that. From 10,000 start. Man. Green market started here. I take the same position on both sides. So I take the same position on both accounts. I just my actual account I trade a little bit larger. Here you have to make sure that once you get the funded account, you have to be very risk averse. So what I did was when I had that trade and then I just cut out, just took the loss instead of trying to work it back. So what I need to do is wait until I get a really awesome setup, all things bullish, bounce off something good. Trade real quick. Well, yeah, yesterday we had irrational signs out the door. And a hedge pressure break on Nasdaq yesterday, if I remember correctly. And essentially once it broke through hedge pressure, I just cut it. Like essentially I don't forget where it was, somewhere in there. And then what's up guys? Good morning. Yeah, so I was in once SPY broke hedge pressure pretty quickly. And resilience was strong and DD was strong, which did show there to be support from here to here. So I took the DD trade right on this one, right there, all the way up to hedge pressure. So this was $9,000 from here to here. DD was in the 9s, resilience was positive. It was a no-brainer. But the hedge pressure break made it irrational, and that's exactly why it did what it did, right? So you can't pick directional moves when irrational markets happen. It's going to be random, so you have to take a pivot where you see it. Never get involved in options. Greeks, do you have the new rockets? Your options map makes you want to learn more. The monthly map, it's next level stuff. I mean, it's to me is one of the best things we've we've done. Resilience alone was like groundbreaking. Changed. I mean, resilience alone, my win rate went up a whole 10% easily because I set out a whole lot more. Monthly maps, it's directional. You can have a directional bias. Let's go ahead and make sure. Let me get the bot running really quick for the morning. How are y'all today? Get used to streaming again. On my actual computer. 12.950. Oh. Oh, so why the bot was all messed up is because I managed the cloud file, and my laptop I was doing it. That's why. Okay. Probably saved the old data over the new data. Let's see. Okay, run the bot really quick. But managing, like, I think I'm running. I posted my stats on Twitter if you guys want to see the actual 10K challenge account. Ooh, we just hit 13,500 followers. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Where did I post that? Oh, here. Oh, okay, 43,002. So this is the same challenge account I've been running. It's just been killing it. Just because I've been showing ETF doesn't mean I'm still not doing this. I still post the statements with this. I was actually laying by the pool, took a picture. So that was it yesterday, 43.2. There you go. You're asking about the trade yesterday. So pretty green, actually. The ETF was when I took the trade, I just took the stop and got out. So it wasn't a big deal. I knew what it was going to be, and I lost tolerance with it. And when it comes to irrational markets, I don't want to take any risks there. So that just makes all the sense in the world. What's going on here? You guys hang tight for 1 second. What is going on with my encoder here? Hold on 1 second, guys. I'm at that close my recorder now. Don't go anywhere. I'll be right back. It's glitching out. Hold on 1 second. All right. All right, y'all, we're back. Sorry about that. My encoder froze up for some reason. Okay, let me run these, the DD bands bot really quick. The file probably auto-saved once I got home and connected to the Wi-Fi. And it saved over the actual data. Here's the new data. Let's get the bands going. Like, send a trial link in the description doesn't work. Ooh. Hold on. Let me double check that. That's a big deal. Let's see, let me... Oh, okay. Thanks for letting me know that.
Buy on blue, sell on...
That is... How did that happen? Oh, well. That's so crazy. Well, there it is. Okay. Thank you. Just let me know that. There you go. Try now. That's so funny. That's telling how much faster we would have grown had that link been working all these months. LOL. My mic is still on? Yeah. I'm talking to you guys. Did I say something? Did I say something weird? Oh, I was like, hopefully I didn't say something to get canceled with my mic. With my mic still on. Yeah, somebody said my link in the extended trial description wasn't working. I was making a joke. I was like, damn, because we are, you know, like I said, we've been going through this massive growth spurt. You know, our company's been exploding with popularity, and I'm like, who knows how far we would have been if that link actually worked all these months. And we could have been at 2,000 people already. Just a nod to my dopiness. Sometimes I don't know why I never changed that. I was just being silly. 411, some change, 404.90. Okay, let's go. Let's read. Let's go through the news, see what's going on here. PPI came out today. Market just moved a little tiny bit on that news. Have you ever seen The Jinx? I haven't. Is that a show or is that a movie? All right, so we had CPI. This is core. So PPI data's coming in lower. Let me see what the actual core came in. So the year-over-year core came in a little lower. PPI year-over-year came in a little lower. So the market kind of moved up a little bit. We've been in this short squeeze. It's still moving to the upside, even though we're getting data that's, you know, kind of shifting the market around. I think if earnings start this week, right? Big earnings. I think of big earnings. Let me double check. Friday, or maybe it's next week. Well, okay, no, we do have Friday. We have JP Morgan, Citigroup. Yeah, that is this Friday. So let's pay attention to that continual, perpetual shift that we would experience from sector cycling between energy, finances, small caps. You're seeing people move money all over the place, and lots of money. It's been like that for about a week. It's been about the same pattern. You've been seeing the NASDAQ weak, the Russell strong, the S&P resilient. With full dedication, how long would it take to fully learn my style of trading and implement it? Probably to start a couple weeks. To fully grasp anything, as trading or whatever, I always say you got to put at least 3 months into it. You got to see the good, the bad, the ugly, the up, the down, the sideways, and just get used to all the different conditions. But pretty much after a couple weeks, it's not hard to become fluent. What we teach is pretty easy to grasp. The deep dive really shapes you as a trader, though. So to get better at trading, that's up to the person. It could take years, it could take never. But to start learning how to trade and following rules, it's not too hard. That's pretty quick. Good morning. What's up, Brian? Good morning. Am I posting? I did. I posted the new D bands. Thought I did. It could take never. It's true. You guys hit that like button while you're waiting here. Let's take a look. So in the morning, we're going to be paying attention to some index divergence. Tell you the tried and true rule of thumb when it comes down to understanding markets and market collapses. When there are people shorting and there are people selling, the banks are holding the bag. Stock market has never once crashed. And the COT TFF report has shown market makers red line net positive. This is the thing I've been saying, and people are now quoting me and starting to use this report because it's such a substantial thing. People are starting to finally realize we use it to kind of pinpoint a bottom. The market's still bottom. The market's still going to go higher. It may not go higher today, but in general, this would be the first time in history the dealers have ever dropped the market while they hold the bag. It's just something that doesn't happen. It makes perfect sense. So, when the market makers are positive and everyone's selling and short, that consolidation tends to break to the upside in a really quick and sturdy run. I'm hoping we get that. That'd be really nice. Again, may not be today. It may not be until earnings kind of gets some headway. But I think that the reverting to mean, people I see revert to mean into earnings, may not be to the downside. It may actually be to the upside area. So we may revert to mean here higher before lower. That is exactly how I believe the market's going to behave over the next couple of months to the summer. The Fed no longer raising rates aggressively, we'll probably get zero rate hike this time around. Kind of last December, I said by March we would be at zero. So this is April. It was pretty close, but they basically committed to about one more rate hike of 25 if they do it at all. What were the indicators you used to call bottom last October? That was the one. Well, that's one of the ones. I actually wrote like a 20-page, I don't know, dissertation on Reddit. I'll find the link for you. That talked about all the pieces that went into it. I was using that plus unemployment reports. I was basically predicting that the Fed was going to start cutting rates, or at least dropping rates to zero, and speculating that we could cut rates if there was any kind of need to. And if you see the commentary states that they're going to freeze and hold it steady, but the actual votes from the participating members state that they believe appropriate monetary policy by same time next year would be actually rates in the mid to low fours. So that is cuts. So it means that they're likely to behave in cuts. So QQQ hedge break right out the door. Let's be careful here on this one. See which way that hedge break is going. Inversion long. Oh, to the upside. Okay, so let's pay attention. Upside hedge break. Let's go with that. Resilience 99 and 100. So all stocks pretty much gapping up. Nasdaq is running the upper DD band. Let's see that really quick. That might exhaust this trade. Pretty scared to take it. Mean reversion is a little bit random. Let me put this here. So I'm just going to guess. It's about right there. I want that DD number to come through before I actually make a knee-jerk trade on this. Could be another day where we hit the top of the band, start selling. Just be careful. This is an upside break, so upside breaks are definitely better than downside breaks. So we're going to make sure that UVXY doesn't do anything crazy. Let's get that chart right here. We're quick in the morning. You guys are not used to the rockets yourself. Really ask questions, and I'm always glad to help out. We got a bull zone bottom possibly coming up if the market does continue to push higher, but that's probably not going to happen before we hit the upper DD band first. Things looking solid. Looking for a trade idea. SPY bull long up. Pretty cool. I do want to see that hedge pressure long. Might take one as soon as we get it. Where is my liquidity map? Let's refresh there. So yeah, I mean, it comes down to your goal is not to read the news and react like the PPI says this and that. Your goal is to predict that it's going to be lower, and that's your job as a trader, to predict that it's going to be lower. All right, I think I do want to kind of take something. Let me think. Maybe it's a bull long up. It's pretty solid. This time Russell's trading down, so let's be very careful on Russell. It still feels weird today. Resilience is looking tight. Russell's a BLU. Let's see if we can't see where there's that little. I don't know why I'm getting a little delay and lag here. So there it is. Let's keep an eye on resilience. Resiliences are positive. That looks good. Looks like half gap's probably going to stay. There. Okay. What's going on here? I don't know if it's just me. Is anyone else, or is it just me? We did some updates. Let's look at the DD bands really quick. I'm like refreshed to get my walls going up here. There we go. Half gap not showing. Yeah. Okay. Nah, we're just saying. You lost your half gap? Yeah, that's weird. Half gap isn't showing. We'll have him, he's gonna look at that real quick. Okay. Just use your imaginations right here in the middle. I do like that. What I want to do, I'm gonna take a tiny long in the All right. It is belong up. It is looking solid. Resilience looking good. DD is looking good. I'm in. Okay. Now again, I have to be very careful because this is that ETF thing on this one. So I have to make sure. How do I add the green lines? Okay, so I do it manually, and until we get... So Nasdaq is at upper DD band right now, so this could be the limit. So I'm going to be very careful to watch that this doesn't reverse the market from here. Okay, let me show you guys on my other screen. Keep an eyeball out. QQQ is hedge break to the upside, which is really good. Anytime you get hedge breaks and you break through DD bands, you're going to look for yellow lines and red lines to your resistance on the market. I think I do have some on Nasdaq. Yeah, so there's a Nasdaq yellow line way up here if we do continue to climb over like a 1 to 2 day run. Keep eyeballing that one. So that is basically what we call when markets are rational. This is what we call the DD band rule. So if the DD comes in at 0.7, sorry, 0.76. If it comes in greater than 50, it's bullish enough to touch the upper line for the lower line. That is the rule that we use for DD. So these are the bands. This could be that first pivot down that pulls the market back. So I have to make sure nothing comes in crazy. SPY is flirting with the hedge break, so we're going to be very careful on this one. I'm going to go back to my main. All right, so you're very, very, very careful. This is the Nasdaq pivot at the top, so that is kind of the high for the Nasdaq. And now that I think about it, 4.8, I'm just going to be out. So that's how I'm going to run this one. The DD bands are published with the bot. So you should be able to get them from the Discord. So keeping an eye here, this resilience is looking great. What happened with my trade yesterday? I made $9,000 something dollars or $9,900 on my 10K account, and then I only lost I lost 1,000 on this. And so the ETF I cut just because I have a minimum loss limit. I have to stay with that one, but the 10K account made almost 10 grand because I still played it. Is this res right? I don't know. I'll have to look at this. Yeah, I need to get them to look at this resilience because this is... It looks like since they did a reload on the platform, I have to be very cautious here. I mean, it could be right. I mean, all things are gapped up, I would say. Let me just double check. Let me spot check a couple of things. Most everything's gapped up, so it could be, I mean, that does seem kind of weird, but it could be right. If you guys find a stock that isn't gap and go, let me know. Now it's like breaking through upper DD bands. That's good. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Ooh. All right, things are looking pretty good here. Let's double check QQQ. Let's pull up a monthly map and just kind of investigate. I'd love to see what these things are doing. Let's see what that analysis looks like going forward. So right now, the market's still short squeezing. This is something that you're going to see going into, I'd say going into summer. There's just... And especially going into this monthly earnings, because a monthly expiration, because there's a lot of stocks that have pushed higher and have squeeze options So you have calls that are just sitting in the money, especially monthly calls, and they're forcing people to long into this consolidated high just to get out of their short, or like basically to get out of their short. They hedge their short. So if you shorted a calls in the money, you got to buy the shares to hedge. So that's what we're dealing with right now. Wait, this is... I have to redo my DD bands here. Put that there, put that there. Okay, let me try something. Am I back from a break? Oh yeah, back from the break. It was a nice break to have. I was real happy to have it. Yeah, the DD rule is done because you hit the top of the NQ band. You guys are correct. So right now, there is just irrational trade possibility. That's what I'm looking to get set up here. So it'd be like a SPY trade to half gap, but I'm experiencing some platform issues right now. We went through and put in an upgrade for monthly map, and that was working really good. And let me see if I can get it. Do a little test of this. Let me try something really quick. Hold on one second, you guys. I'm just gonna close my platform down and reopen it. Just double check everything's. Let me just reinitiate my socket here. All right, let me go ahead and put this daily chart here. This is It looks like some of our processes are frozen from the reinstall. So this is something I need to do. Yeah. Thank you for finding that. He's gonna he's looking at seeing what our backend processes are stuck. So this is clear that one of the backend processes is not refreshing the real time updates the platform. Like it's not remembering where my settings are and things. So he's about to fix that real quick. Thank you for letting me know. Yeah. It's kind of scary. The last 3 trades on here ended red. What do you mean? This is a different scenario than my actual trading challenge account. So this is traded with different roles, and instead of fighting a trade every day, the strategy here is I cut and run before the loss gets too big, because you have to maintain a drawdown. So like, essentially, I haven't lost a trading day in my challenge account probably in 3 weeks, something like that. So the scenario of having to trade within such strict rules forces me to choose to take a small loss. And so I'll bet bigger and trade bigger whenever the first trade out the door needs to be a big one to build buffer in the account. So that's how you work one of these funded account things. But God, I probably only my 10K account, I've probably only lost four or 5 days this year. That's not that. That's it. Well, in that I say this year when that challenge started, which was what, late January. We only lost like 4 or 5, maybe like 5 days, I think. So this is a lot harder, believe it or not. These funded account things, I'm doing it so I can detail the journey in a video. Kind of just show off how it works, but my main squeeze is still doing good. I have to trade it a little, or I have to trade this a little differently. So that's the whole. You'd rather watch the 10K account challenge? They're all the same. I mean, I don't make different decisions in each one, other than this one I'll have to cut differently. The idea is to take a harder challenge, and I can't show multiple trade debates on me. I could, but I don't want to. Rocket Scooter needs to take the main size of the screen here. So. How did I make 9K? No, I longed the market yesterday. So basically, when we hit the bottom of the bull zone, I longed to hedge pressure. So I did the same trade here, except for on my personal account, I longed really small, and then I longed really big. So instead of longing and cutting short like this one, I longed and cut out. I don't double down. I have rules of how I trade a static drawdown account than I do like my real account. I take more risk for sure, because I have the ability and the leverage to put in a little bit more. So basically I longed and then hit it really hard at DD, because DD was like 9s, right? It was really high. So this was where the bull zone was. I longed from bull zone to hedge pressure. I literally longed through in a massive position here, cut it right there. I was laying by the pool. Do you cut before your daily loss exceeds 20% of your... Shmed, are you talking about in the in these ETF things? I would love to show you, but I was laying by the pool, drinking White Claws. It was a rooftop pool. It was really nice. If your daily loss exceeds 20%? So I basically on this one I just cut at a 10-point stop. Pretty much. So 5 out of 10 times DD is right. When you, I don't understand what you're asking. DD is right. What do you mean? DD is always right. What do you mean right? It's never wrong. Phrase that question differently. Jiggle. Okay, let's see real quick. Hold on one second. Yeah, Res is stuck, and what happened is our process updates, our live process updates on the back end are just he's reinstalling them. I mean, sorry, he's reinitiating them. Thank you. DD is a percent or a ratio of the amount of stocks market cap that are in the bull zone versus the bull plus bear zone. So these are decided by our algorithm that actually goes to the entire options order flow and distinguishes between retail and unhedged options versus market maker options. So this actually can separate the two. What are indications that, the stock market's completely random, right? This is how it works. I watch people struggle all day long with technical analysis. I'll say of the thousands of traders I know, maybe about 10 of them live stream and about one of them live streams and posts a broker statement at the end of the day. That's me, right? I see people all day struggling with like technical analysis and things. They trade with that stuff, and the market that you just look at their accounts go up, down, just seems to be like random noise, right? And there's a reason that you don't see a strung together broker statement. Like I put my 2023 up to date every day. So you'll see that it's not noise, it's strategy. The indications that we have or anybody has are subject to random effects of the market. Some fund can come in and just push a button and drop 10 million shares of a stock, and that stock's going to collapse for the day. Has nothing, no one can predict that. Nobody can. No tool can foresee or predict that. Nothing can. 0% of things can predict that. So if something moves, if your indications say something should happen, and you actually have good indications like ours, so we don't use like trend analysis or shape analysis or any of that stuff. We look at forward-looking things. Everything we look at are forward-looking. Options are forward-looking. They look into the future. Resilience is a redistribution metric that looks for redistributing a position that market maker would take in the overnight or morning share imbalance. So these things are like projecting forward, and even so, it doesn't mean they can predict the future, because someone can still step in again and drop shares and crash the market as well. The idea is that under all normal circumstances where there's no margin calls, people don't dump shares randomly for random reasons in the middle of the day. Typically, those large positions are done off the books with dark pools or done at the open and close. So to see random movements throughout the day that shift the market for no reason, it doesn't happen. And if we do have red lights, yellow lights, then there's your caution. We train people when the market's irrational that you sit out because that's when the market can be random. These indications are literally telling you market's going to be random. So with QQQ breaking hedge pressure to the upside, already we can say market's irrational. So anybody that uses like, you know, technical analysis, for instance, you have just, I mean, let me give an example. Let me draw something. So like you ever see like stock prices do this, right? And you see somebody is like, look, I longed there and I sold there. Anytime you take action after the curve like this, you can very much tell that the mechanic behind that technique is just like averages crossing over. There's like no way to that, right? And the idea is that these averages that cross over tend to like cross over a bunch. And so the idea is that when irrational flags turn on, you would turn your indicators off and not use them. So the idea is that the rule-based trading style that we teach here is that if things add up with strong confluence, this is very strong confluence. Like DD, I think the correctness of DD in a rational market is like 97% when we tested it for the rule of touching the bands. Rational market inside the bands, 97% of the time, DD would either touch the upper or lower band relative to if it was bullish or bearish. Today was one of the days it did do exactly what you thought. So gold is a BLD, by the way, looking really solid. And of course, you know, bull zone support there. I mean, the thing when you say gold's a gap and go supporting at the open. So gold's looking interesting. The question comes to, so like when we say DD is correct most of the time, most all of the time, it's this rule right here. Actually, sorry, DD is correct because of what I said. DD is never wrong is because DD represents what it represents. It is a metric that sets, that's the percentage or ratio of market cap in the bull zone versus the total illiquid market cap, which is bull plus bear zone. So DD has a rule that states when markets are rational and you're inside of these bands, throughout the entirety of the overnight, which true, and true, that if DD's bullish, you touch the upper band before the lower band and it walks right up to it. This is a rule. This is the first rule you learn in our training program. So the market just walked right up to the end and that's it. So that rule took place because this was greater than 50. And that's basically it. You take the scalp from bottom to top, and then that's, you would call it a day. Yeah. Is res accurate? We're looking into the process right now. It definitely looks stuck. Oh, my stats for the year. Oh yeah. So like I said, I'll challenge anybody to take a look at my stats if you want to see them. Like I post the full stats, the whole statement for the year. Like nothing hidden, one account, same account number. It's all here. So I mean, these are the. That was it. It's like 70, 72, 73% win rate. It started at 10K. It's at 43. I'll be at 100K by the end of the month. Just detailing how to take a 10K to 100K. So the goal is I'm making a video series on how a trader will go from nothing to fund themselves, make some money, then take that money, seed a trading account, and then grow the trading account to 100K. It's like a whole video series I'm making. Is the 3K the maximum you can lose? I think it's 12,500. This is the first trade out the door on this, or sorry, I call it like the first trade out the door. Is that I was up a little bit, but the irrational market all 3 days, I just took small losses just to kind of avoid taking a big one. So what I want to see is a really solid, stable market to hit a very big trade to build a buffer. That's the whole point of how you trade these. So the idea is that you wait and wait and wait and get a nice, strong signal. The problem is that resilience looks like our process locked up today. So I'm kind of trading blind right now. I pushed a major update with the monthly maps, so today is one of those days where they're investigating it right now. I've even gone as far as to offer to host a trading competition where I'd give someone $10,000. If they could show me a 3-year broker statement, I would give them $10,000 in an account, and we would trade head to head, and then we donate all the proceeds to charity. And I absolutely had zero. I had like 2 trolls and 0 takers, and that's the industry, right? So I like to show like people who like to trade on my stream and give them a little bit of exposure. So you guys know anybody out there that's a pretty good trader? Let me know, because I think we're gonna kick that challenge. We're gonna kick that competition off sometime in the summer. We're actually gonna host we're gonna start hosting when Rocket Scooter could do trading in futures. The first thing we're gonna have. We're going to start hosting a yearly trading competition. The Rocket Scooter. Prizes and fun stuff, so. So I have a bunch of friends, just basically people in the industry that are all like excited about it. Huge event. It's going to be really fun. The annual meetups. We're gonna start hosting a yearly conference, actually, probably next year. It's already in the works. And we're gonna do a yearly meetup probably in September, like at the anniversary of the Rocket Scooter party like we had last year. We had over 100 people come to the party. The people flew in from like all over the place to come to this thing. So it was actually like a big trader meetup too. And actually, this next week we're having a trader meetup in Houston. All of y'all in Houston, I'll let you know what we do. Because we're gonna do a little trader meetup with a bunch of people. Some friends are flying in. Trader friends. Problem is Nasdaq is hitting a resistance at this DD band. This is the upper limit of Nasdaq, and not having resilience is kind of giving me that iffy. This could be a technicality on this one. The indication is frozen, so I don't have good confluence here. Resilience is frozen right now, so careful using that. Part of the analysis. Refresh those. He needs to thaw. Yeah. It's because resilience is frozen because you're dividing by 0, because half gap is 0, so its resilience is infinity. You'll see that. Do a little bit of math here. Resilience is one of the most powerful tools ever invented for trading. This thing is phenomenal. But the thing is that because we don't have half gaps being calculated, whatever process is missing, then the relationship between resilience and half gap, do y'all see how the math works? Yeah, SCN I stream every single day. You're dividing by 0, so resilience is actually currently infinity right now. So that's why the chart is tapped out. I concur. Michael Bate. Yes. Oh, indubitably, sir. Very astute observation. So yeah, we're pegged out on the chart, so that's certainly. Where would I get out of this trade? We're gonna look for resistances. So on SPY, we look for a couple of things. A gap fill is one of them. So whenever you have, again, I don't know where all my drawings are. So my fancy math brain tells me we're dividing by 0 with resilience. Clearly, resilience is not like some oscillating indicator. It's actually a calculation. Okay. Is a relationship between the hedging and the redistribution zone. So obviously, there's no half gap. That line is very important to the calculation. Clearly, you can see resilience is pegged out. I remember all you plant folks and engineers. You're like, remember the word being pegged out when your gauges were pegged out. And you're like tapping the glass, like, why is this not updating? Okay, so here we go. Gap fill number 1. We hit 50K today in the 10K account, so this is great. I'm also long there as well. There we go. So first and foremost, the first thing we look for is a gap fill to the upside. So about 414 and some change. That's one of the resistances. I'm going to go back to today's setup. Here. So that's pretty high. Let me do these bands really quick. The other target to look for is a resistance against these, what we call DD bands. Here. About 411 and some change. Maybe about right there. Yeah, where I have them drawn. So it's the first resistance you bump into of these two things. Going to run a monthly mode calculation here just to see if I have any resistances. I don't. So all in all, my target is here, 411. Defrost button. Damn thing is frozen. QQQ pushing to the upside. That's great. Things looking really kind of good there. It's about 41, 47 and some change. So how do I use monthly maps, right? Let's go ahead and check it out. We can do a demonstration today. Let me let him know this really quick as well. Y'all want to do a demonstration today? If everybody comes to the Discord, we'll do a demonstration on monthly map. It's one of the most substantial things that we've created. It predicts months in the future. It's gone. Walk you guys through it. So let me look at some of these daily modes here. So everybody want to check it out. Everyone click the link at the bottom. We are a growing trading platform. We are a risk management, rule-based trading platform. We are moving towards opening up futures trading. That is our next step here. We're going to be partnering with the futures broker actually and opening up those doors, getting you guys the ability to trade, have futures data in your charts. You can come to our Discord today, come to a Zoom call. We're going to do that. And if we want to check out what it is we've made, we have a subscription that unlocks everything we do. We have 2 different trading communities inside the Rocket Shooter community. One focuses on options, swing trading, complex setups, investing setups, things like that. I focus more on day trading and scalping. I do more futures, options, scalping. Ashton does a lot of everything really, but focus on swing investing, kind of longer term stuff. Together we have 2 different communities. We have a very substantial trading program that we've created. It's a training boot camp. We will train traders from the start. It's gained a lot of notoriety. I think we're at almost at our 3,000th user account at Rocket Scooter. We're literally exploding and going viral. It's crazy. We love having you guys here to check it out. We'll train you guys on what we do, on the process. My results are obviously atypical. I do show my broker statement and my results. I am the only person on planet Earth that does that, especially on YouTube. For the entire year, you will see the entire year's broker statement. I'm rocking a 73 something % win rate. Every trade I make is done here. I don't really do much trading outside of the stream. I usually trade about an hour or 2 hours a day. You can check out our full program for $35 a month. Extended trial is a link in the description. And all it does is pay for your data. You get the whole experience for free, the whole package for 3 months. I promise you'll walk away learning stuff you never thought existed in the market. It's not a technical analysis class. It's not a charting class. Everything here is unique and different than what you've experienced before. And if anything, you'll learn rule-based risk management, which is what I follow. How to be picky on trades, how to manage entries, how to manage exits, stop loss control, position management strategies, everything. We want everybody to go check it out. The link, I'll type it one more time. 35 bucks a month. People come here from other communities and they don't leave the minute they step in the door. Who here came from another community? Don't say where you came from, but you came to Rocket Scooter and you were like, this is just different. I love this place. Or I hate this place. I want to watch this guy ruin his account. I'm here just to meme the dude. Either way. Click that. Click that little button there. Okay, let me get my SPY trade up in here. We are pushing towards upper DD band on... So we are irrational on NASDAQ. NASDAQ is pushing to the upside, which is good. The S&P has its first resistance coming right up here. So I might close my scalp there and just call it a. I'm getting pretty lucky on this, which I do like. But bull long ups are good. The DD band rule is the first index that touches the band, ends that rule. So obviously you still pivot at each one of the bands. But NASDAQ pushing higher could pull the SPY higher, and I like that trade that I'm in. It's looking pretty solid today. Well, we're in your life now, Barb. Alexander. Different. It's a different approach, right? The one thing that's different is your charts aren't loaded with a bunch of garbage. It's just not like overlays and colorful things. And The process is not hard to learn, but it's detailed. If you want to go as detailed as we get, you'll learn a lot of stuff. But what we're doing, we have a video series that'll take you through all the tools we use. Probably in like a week, you'll get to the end of all the tools. We don't use multi-time frame confluence. That is completely like an archaic, like you'll never see me put a technical indicator on my chart. You'll never see me look at, okay, what's the 5 minute, what's the hour say, what's the daily. I don't do any of that anymore. We don't look at candles, candle shape of price. I know where I went along. I know where I went along to. I push the button. I could turn the charts off and still trade. So the whole point is we remove the dependency that people have on charts. But the thing is that there's nothing wrong with other people's styles. My style, it doesn't mean that, like if I'm a cook that doesn't measure how much sugar I put into a cookie, that's just because that's my style. It doesn't mean that if you do that, you're wrong, right? So I think I don't like resilience. I kind of going to puss out on this one. I'm just going to take the trade and take the profit. I don't want to be too eager here because I can't really watch much, and it's enough. It's going to get there. Amjad is about to restart the server. Yeah, go. Okay, so everybody be careful. He's going to restart the server, so Rocket Scooter is going to bump up with all the right data. I made 3,300 in the 10K account, 500 in this ETF account, 10K account almost at 50K. That's good. That's profit. Easy peasy. Like it. Mr. I come from a land down under 5 pandas. I think everything he says is a subtle troll. I'm not so dense that I don't hear the first thing he says. A troll. Which guru are you in a fake account here hanging out in the stream? Are sales down or something? You come here to learn how to make a tech company go viral. I'll teach you all the steps. How are we supposed to see the monthly maps and the platform by now? We're going to do a demonstration in about an hour. At right about 11 o'clock, I'll do a monthly maps demonstration. Right now, what I'm doing is we're going to restart the server. So you're going to probably lose your connection and have to restart it. Everything should be good. So going out from here. Barb, you have a mantra based on what I'm learning from Rocket Scooter. One great trade. One trade a day, that's it. Get your one trade, call it a day. Trading multiple times up or down throughout the days, it's not really fruitful, right? Like I said, 365% on the 10K account. What I demonstrate here is I'm going to piece together a video series of how you can take a nominal amount of money. You have $1,000 to your name and you want to make a trading account. How do you turn $1,000 into $100,000? You're not going to get lucky on a Tesla YOLO. What you're going to do is take that $1,000 and do a funded account and try to get yourself, 2 to 5K out of that, right? You get the funded account, you come in this 150K account. It took me 5 days to get it. This is going to pay out after day 20, whatever I get. As long as you get 2 or 5K somewhere in there, you can seed an actual trading account and just slow grow that account to your bankroll. So what I do with the 10K challenge is I slowly trade this amount to protect it. I get that 10K close to about 20, 25K, and then I start hitting it hard like I am now. When I get those bull long up days that look great, I go in and hit it long and build it. So the idea is that you can take a small amount, a nominal amount of money, and turn it into a real account and then trade the real account up. If you want to build a trader bankroll, there's no better process than that. It takes practically no money. It just takes a lot of patience and a lot of skill. And that's what we try to train folks here on how to do it. SCN, I trade every single morning at 9 Eastern until about 11-ish Eastern. On the heels of the recession. Hey, what's up, Waylon? This app is showing bullish, albeit irrational indicator signaled. So the irrational is to the upside, by the way. So just remember that, Waylon, because we only flag hedge pressure breaks on either direction. So these are irrational hedge pressure breaks to the upside. So when you see that it's red, I do have a note to put in like the word up, down, to let us know which way it's breaking. So irrational break to the upside is causing a squeeze to the next level, just by the way. So that's pretty significant in your opinion for that to occur. It makes the app worth its weight in gold. Oh, I love you, bro. You're awesome. Thank you for your kind words. So right out the door, this is a very, very common bull long up hedge pressure bounce to DD band. Exactly what I said I was going to do. He's restarting the server, so let me see if that connects to process. Looking good. So whenever he does that. Money talks. Green bicep / money talk. You know, the whole time, bicep, I was thinking you were telling me money talks, but that's actually your name. I was like, does he just say that every time he types a sentence? But then I was like, oh wait, that's great. I'm going, but like the longer I stare at this tiny text on my screen, the trading platform, I get blinder as years go by. It's like getting old. I was like, that's kind of cool. It's like, maybe it's my catchphrase. Say it every time. Irrational to the upside. I thought, yeah, right? Because it's got a dash and a space. No, don't change it. I just kept on thinking. I was like, I was looking at it, wondering. I was like, money talks, and you put it in quotes. I was like, did I say that today? No, don't change it. I think it's badass. You need to keep it. So, irrational hedge break means markets are random. Random market, DD is 0.7. It means we support it bull side. So, the way you do the analysis today, DD being bullish supports bull zone. Check. BLU is a trade from open to blue to open. If you support it open, then it goes to next resistance, which is the first line you bump into. That's the rule of the liquidity map. That's how I trade. Today was extremely textbook. I'm sure everybody saw that. No fear in this trade. I close out at the right spot. BLU, this is open, blue, open. So there's the V shape right here. This is 1A. This is 1B. 1B is a supported open to next resistance. There's next resistance. DD band. DD band's calculated by the bot. This is all like textbook. This is like day one stuff, right? Liquidity map to a resistance. Hedge pressure long. These are great. Now, resilience would help me understand how we pivot inside of here. But since it's pegged out because half gap was missing, obviously you guys are very astute to notice that. To understand why it was pegged out at 100, it's because, as we noticed, and thank you, whoever said it went and checked airlines today and saw that the airlines were trading lower, so we knew that resilience was a problem. It's the first time that's ever happened, but with no half gap, it's easy to see that the relationship. So we're looking at the hedging between the half gap and the edges of the zone. And so it's stocks that are relative and how much move they still need to make to fill their gaps. And so with the half gap gone, the move is infinite. So therefore resilience is infinite and the chart pegged out. Interesting to see. I love it. Can't believe you never thought about the direction of hedge break. Yeah, well, I mean, random is random to either direction, right? So that's it. That's probably the high of the day. What's the ticker for RTY on Rocket Scooter? So a liquidity map looks at the equities options, because if you don't look at equities options when trading futures, you're just trading noise. Equity options are extremely predictable. And so what we do for our secret sauce is when you're looking at the Russell, you're going to use a multitude of things. The first thing you're going to do is you're going to look for the IWM, which is the main ETF for the Russell. And you're going to do a liquidity map on that to find out bull and bear side resistances on Russell. And then we're going to look for another process that we teach to analyze in the future side. Is you're going to look for risk interval or DD resistances on Russell as well. So RTY is what you're looking at here. So an example is when you're trading anything, once you touch either band with one of the three indices that we look at, Russell, NASDAQ, and ES, the first one that touches the band ends this rule that we call the ratio rule. Anytime the ratio is bullish, which today it's
way greater than half. It's very bullish. It will touch the upper band before the lower band 97% of the time. That's actually back tested. We've talked about that. We actually did the back test and all the research live for almost a year in front of the community. So the folks are here to experience how accurate a rational DD number is. And what that does, it just shows that the bullish market without a counter push, which means no catalyst or anything like that, no random thing that comes, then the market just ebbs and flows to the top. This proof is right for your eyes. S&P walked right up to its band. These are published at 6 p.m. Eastern, or between 5 and 6. And these bands stay static all day, and the S&P just walks right up to it. We have an algorithm that correctly identifies those risk ranges. It's a high volume pivot. What it's exploiting is the margining practice that the CME uses to set margin requirements for this thing. This actual band has to do with that. You see, when you approach the band, there's a very high volume pivot right when you're resisting it. So what we do at Rocket Scooter is give you predictable high volume pivot levels before they happen. This is based on the margin requirements. So what's neat about this thing is these bands don't care about price action or anything. They're static, and they're based on a principle that is fixed every single day. And so that part is pretty cool. There's that high volume pivot that we predict. We have a bot in our Discord that actually publishes that number. It's updated in a process in the cloud that feeds the bot. It'll soon be automated in Rocket Scooter. So what you have to know every day is you have to make sure that there's different styles of trading. So the first one is if you're rational inside the bands, the one trade a day, I think it was Barb that said that. Is it Barb who said that? Yeah, one great trade. So my one trade a day, what I call my career trade, is to trade at the band and call it a day. I hit it hard and I'm done. When I made like 3,000 something bucks in the 10K account, it was only about an hour's or less worth of work, and then I call it a day. I don't need to further gamble. I take one strong trade, hit it, quit it, and then I'm pretty much done. So if we break outside of the bands, irrational rules take over, which markets are random up here, and the market can pivot very violently in any direction. Any upside target, we look for these things called yellow lines and red lines. These are called illiquidity pivots, and they're calculated in a different mechanic. So illiquidity pivots are one of the coolest things that we teach because they predict breakout highs. And I'll give you an example. I've kept a history of these things for years. I've been streaming since 2016, so I have a whole history of them. Anytime we see one of these gray boxes, this moment in time triggered this calculation. This calculation is an illiquidity pivot. We call it a yellow line. I since delete them as soon as you break through the trigger point, which is here. And what this means is if you can see where the top of my mouse is, from this Sunday, I mark the chart with this level. And do you see how the market, once it hits that level, is a major, major, major pivot? And this actually pivoted it lower. So these are run length runs, right? So this illiquidity pivot, I trade the longer term trade, ends at one of those. Anytime you're trading outside of these DD bands, you're looking for what we call our yellow line as a pivot. So today, up and down, they both trigger them. This one had a downside pivot here. And then, you know, weeks later, there was the connection. So outside of the band, the trade ends at these things, right? Outside of the band, the trade ends at that. See how there's a massive, I mean, it's razor sharp, this pivot right here. So you're forecasting in advance a level that's a pivot when irrational. It's one of our favorite tricks. Oh, thank you, Waylon. Appreciate you, my friend. So anytime you're outside of these bands, I trade to what we call those yellow lines and call it a day. And so I've kept accurate history of them, even breakouts, even breakout highs. The best part about this technique is that even when the market's going to all-time highs, you can still forecast pivots and breakout highs. It looks like we only have 2 years of data on Thinkorswim hourly charts. So I can't go back any further than that, but I've got history of these going all the way back. So the active ones are still drawn on the chart, and these active ones are being used as pivots. So right here, I'll show you where they are. These are, I know this is really messy, but this is just to keep a log, and this will be automated in Rocket Scooter by the summertime. So this guy has a resistance here, and the market on the outside of the band ran right up to it 2 weeks later. So we're prepped ahead of time for breakout targets. I mean, you can't argue with what you see. I'd tell everybody to take a chance and just check it out for yourself. I mean, this day, that trade outside the band goes from green line to yellow line, and it's perfect. Right? We closed there. Predicted 10 days out in advance. So you can't predict the direction of the market, but when the market moves, you could predict where I predict where I want to get out. And I would get out exactly here. Right? So any breakout target that becomes irrational today, like today or tomorrow, is inching towards these levels here on the breakout. So by, monthly expiration, I think we're up here. Yeah, it's not automated. We teach the manual process. We just need our futures data to come through. So right, once we get our futures data partnership going on, we'll have futures data. We'll be able to have, if you have a futures account with the partner broker, you'll be able to open up the socket to get your futures data come through the platform, and it will feed your calculations to automate green lines, doomsday band, yellow lines, everything. Schmed says, Karen Shetty says, at Karen says, that's great to know. What did Karen say? BLE has a 90% win rate in that past 8 months. He's been tracking from open to close. So Karan is not quoting what I say. He's quoting his own performance. Karan actually, if you follow him, Samosa on Twitter, actually is just a Rocket Scooter member, and he has been being honest and tracking his own performance using Rocket Scooter. No paid affiliation or anything. Just a member who jumped in and it's like, hey, I'm gonna call your bluff, Matt. Let me see if this program's completely garbage or not, and I'm gonna start posting stuff. And so I don't know if I'm pronouncing, I always say Karan. And he posts his own performance. So I think he's saying he's had a 92% win rate on every BLU. I think that's what he's saying. And that's his, which is phenomenal, actually. BLU on rational days, so great. And lap of luxury, I have to tell you, whenever you're trading and you really want to get control over what you do, if you're just patient, right? You wait for all the signals to line up and you're patient and you just take that one trade. Only, I don't know, gamblers and children try to day trade all day long. Like if you're addicted to day trading, it's going to eventually bite you in the butt. So you have to make sure that you understand that the strongest trade potential that you have is for your time spent is right out the door. First hour to 2 hours of the day is you want to look for signals to line up to get a move in the first 2 hours of the day. It's quick, get in, get out, either make the money, make the loss, call it a day. But if you're trading up, trading down, trading all day long, you're just addicted to the market. You're not taking it like a career. You're making yourself susceptible to random noise and random events. Like the longer you're in the market, the higher probability that somebody in some place on some Twitter account tweets something that knocks your position the other way. All the random geopolitical events in a recession, you don't want to be in a trading longer than you can. You want to be exposed to the market as little as possible because of all the random noise and rumors that come through. People are so sensitive in this environment. You don't want to be committed to trades for long periods of time. You'll have to take my word for it. That's why I say you got to trust what I say. Well, not really that it's like the best thing to learn, but I do post my results. So it does have merit for what I do. And I'll tell you the trick to what I do for me, and again, it doesn't imply your results, is I don't trade that much. And you may think that you have to trade a lot to make money. I basically make one trade a day. And the goal is to be accurate. To be accurate, to know when you're wrong. To, the idea, there's a lot of people that have a lot of programs, a lot of training programs, and their goal is to try to trick you to make you believe that the program is what's going to make the money, or the program wins the market, or the program can beat the market. It's all bullshit. All of it. All of it. The stock market's unpredictable, 0% predictability, but what is predictable is the mechanics of keeping the market in control. That's what we exploit. You can identify times when markets are just ebbing and flowing. You can identify times when markets are random and out of control. That's what we're good at. These red lights come on the screen, bottom right, market's out of control. You have to take it with a grain of salt. Trade small. QQQ hedge break. Market could be random. That's why I took my trade and got out of the way. Things were green and nice and steady. So now the market's doing random stuff. And while we're sitting here, look what it is. I identified random market. Oh, nice. Cool. Let me get this going on here. Let's log in. Perfect. Yes. Do we have half gaps? Let's go. Let's see if everything's back to normal. So the difference between what you would normally do with chart overlay indicators is you're always looking for signals. If you're always looking for signals and they're always trying to tell you this is an entry, this is an X, this is an entry, this is an X, this is a long, this is a short, you're going to have a bad time. The idea is to identify... I do like what I'm seeing. We're back. Hold on though. These half gap is back. We're trying to set up the process. So we had a good deal. Okay, that's looking better. Waylon says, "As hella skeptical, dude," and I know, and that's what I like, man. I like meeting people that are super skeptical because the idea is that you should be a skeptic. There's nothing wrong with that. Not even just to say that we have any skillful advice or anything, but you should always be a skeptic anytime you approach something. That's just a life skill. You should always approach something because if you're sold on an idea, then you have glossy eyes and you'll easily conform to what the salesman's telling you. You should enter every new deal, any new anything in life as a skeptic because it opens the door for you to learn something and to challenge what you see. I invite and love when people do that. To me, there's no better place to be in your life than to question everything. If I didn't question everything, I'd still be sitting here trading garbage MACDs on my chart. Thinking that, well, it kind of works for this guy. Well, he says it works and he shows me a live trading stream once a month. Well, he makes money every single time he streams. All right, well, I guess I'll use the MACD. Okay. Right. And it just doesn't like open the door to you having the ability to self-check or self-criticize or, performance improvement, anything. You have to be skeptical, which allows you to change. I love it. Looks like we're back, baby. Oh, yes. Looking good. Okay, so it looks like resilience is back to normal. Half gap is back. So who knows? Who knows what happened, but we're good. These things should be normal. Let's see if the monthly map is back. Let me double check this. Okay, next step, he's gonna do that. When you purchase the system, you get those levels on Thinkorswim as well. You have to draw them yourself. We give you a tool on Thinkorswim that allows you to incorporate them on Thinkorswim. We also give you a TradingView version. And as the platform has been released, we're developing features as the months go by. So the current feature we're working on right now is to actually have a DOM that in futures input data that will automate all that. That's the current project we're doing now that monthly maps are out. So futures data is pushing forward. We were actually going to do a certain thing. Can't make the announcement yet, but we actually are on the cusp of securing a partnership with a broker. So right now we're focusing on expansion to the tens of thousands of people at this point. So now this potential thing is going to go through. Last night, I'm having a meeting with my team to work on expansion, rapid expansion. So this is a big project we're doing. We're trying to design it to be super robust. So I got to keep that keep that on DL, but that's the buzz going out there for you guys, just to say futures is on the way. I'm super excited about that. So the idea is we're releasing things little by little, as you know, the project has a multi-year roadmap, and of course we're pivoting as we come up with new tools and new things. Everything you see in the platform you get with the subscription, and also we give you full access if you're doing the trial. So if you guys are doing the trial, you can play with everything that we have. Somebody says, Matt, you have the best exits I've ever seen. Oh, like right there at the that's not where the DD band on Q is. Let's do SPY. And here, I don't know, I just got tired in my original trading journey of struggling with things that people told me worked and nobody showed me that it worked for them. And I took it to my own devices to try to explore. You know, I'm a coder, so I like to create automations. Well, coding has always been a hobby of mine since I was a kid. You know, my background is in chemical engineering, and I did engineering research in college. So data is my biggest thing. It has to look good and be repeatable in a data set. I know the difference between random noise and data versus substantially correlated data. Like, that's what I went to school to learn. And to me, something that, and there's that DD band resistance, right? I closed right for, and somebody just said he had the best exits you've ever seen. Appreciate you, Terrence. It's mostly like in a bear market, especially when you have mixed signals. The goal is to get in and get out as fast as you can and get out of the way. And that's the trick to maintaining a high win rate. If you were to ask me, put a gun to my head and say, Matt, how do you keep your win rate 70% or higher? I make one trade a day. If I find one, I either get it and take it. I know where I'm in, I'm out. I know my risk and reward every time. I exit exactly at the first resistance as much as I can. If I hold a runner, I'll close out most and let the rest go. Clearly, we have mixed signals today because we have irrational QQQ hedge break, but positive DD and resilience was not working. So I lost my confidence to hold a runner. So I just closed everything out at that green line. And as you see on my screen, there's the resistance. I mean, it is on point. And those green lines were put there yesterday at 4 whatever PM Central when I do it. 4-ish. So the idea is I get in and get out, and that's it. I don't need to overtrade. I don't need to trade all day long. I'm actually about to go play with the cats because we haven't seen them in about a week. The goal with career trading is to understand the environment you're in. If it's a nice, steady, non-irrational bull market with no volatility, I'm more inclined to take multiple trades throughout the day. It's a very controlled environment. But because I've been trading for 13 years, I understand that in a bear market, while everyone else out there, you're watching these gurus in trade rooms struggle to make sales. Why is Rocket Scooter going viral? Why are people looking at this platform? Because I'm still live streaming and trading. I'm still showing a high win rate. Well, why is your win rate high? Are you predicting the market with a crystal ball? No, I'm just controlling my trades differently. I've traded bear markets before. I know what to do. I don't over trade. I characteristically trade one trade a day. And if I find a second one, it would be rare. I get in and I get out because I know bear markets are volatile. They're sensitive. There's uncontrollable news that can come out of nowhere. And I know to get out of the way. What happens if the market rallies another 60, 70 points and I miss out on it? Who cares? My gains aren't based on the market. The market doesn't control my gains. I control my gains. I have risk and reward for every trade I make. I take it. I get out of the way. When the volume is starting to decline, there's not a lot of power for the market to move. And I know the times markets are random. So I take the trade that makes sense and I get out of the way in a bear market. The high win rate is not because I'm predicting the market. The high win rate is I'm predicting myself. I'm going to know when I'm going to trade. I'm going to trade very, very specifically. And I know very quickly when I'm wrong. And I cut and run so fast. And I don't try to overtrade or revenge trade. That control is the consistency I have. In the bear market, that's the secret. Do less, a lot less, and that's it. I also remember the first day Waylon came in here, And the funny thing is I remember, and I love, see, this is what I'm saying. You quickly become one of my favorite people when you challenge. One of the things that I love is, like, an example, as rare as it is, you might get a troll or two. Nobody trolls the guy that posts his broker statement. It's like a free walk to the top. But at the end of the day, we do get an occasional troll, I don't know, a jealous competitor or something that might just go, oh, I hate those guys, they're terrible. Well, it's very rare. And then anybody that looks at them or follows them comes over here to see the shit show. Then they walk over here and see a broker statement. And I've got so many people that trolls funneled to Rocket Scooter just on their own accord. Like, I love just sitting back and letting them send me clients. So, because the whole point is that you're going to see people that challenge you. And I love that. It doesn't scare me to be challenged. I love to be challenged. And when people are like, okay, you know, what's the catch? What is this thing? Or this didn't work, or that didn't work. Or the idea is that I always like to have a conversation and say, man, you're just like me. I remember when I was looking around trying to find things to trade with, everything looked like dog shit to me. And it was because I didn't understand how to trade when I started out. It wasn't the tools that weren't working. It was because I'm smashing my thumb with the hammer and I'm blaming the hammer. It's not how you do it. So, I really like to be challenged. I remember, I think Wayland had some puts, and you close out, or you were short and you close out your short early, and then for the next 2 days the market turned around and rallied. And I remember it was actually a couple weeks ago. And the idea is that the difference was that when you hang around long enough, you know that I'm not trying to, I think it was actually this day, actually. And then 2 or 3 days later, right, puts are losing. And my mechanic was just a different timing. And I was giving a mechanic on how I believe the market is short squeezing, but it wasn't like the market's short squeezing now. The market's still trading higher in general because this is the number. And it just, when you are on a different time frame when talking with somebody, you're both going to be right. That's the thing. Like, I remember your trade was 100% right, and had you held it another day and closed out in the middle of the day before it started rallying, would have made some money. And I remember I was longing the market and I took a small loss, I think, that day. And now that you understand my trading, you can understand that that short trade was the least probable trade. That's why it moved the fastest. Something that's the least probable tends to move the fastest. It's the whole reason lotteries pay out. Lower the percentage, the higher the reward, right? Or the lower probability, typically the higher the reward, because less people are betting it. And so imagine what would happen had you held that, I think you closed out early on profit. And then had you held that short position, you would be losing over the last 5 days. You would have aged yourself a little bit. You would have been a little more frustrated. Market chopping up and down. And so the point is that when you're learning from anybody, you have to learn what they're trying to accomplish. Right? So I keep my thesis in the back of my head. Market's squeezing higher. It doesn't mean it has to squeeze higher every day. My thesis is I think it's squeezing higher. Anytime I get an indication that says today's probably the day, I'll take it. And the market turns around and breaks through hedge pressure, people say, well, why aren't you going short? Because I don't want to overtrade. I'd rather take a loss and call it a day than overtrade. But yeah. So what's cool is that when you're learning my style is just exploiting imbalances as quickly as possible. The first imbalance to find a resistance, I take that trade. And that's characteristically what I do in a bear market. I don't try to predict direction. I keep in the back of my head, the general direction is bullish. I mean, DD is telling you that. There's no way. DD is never wrong. DD is telling me that markets are positioned bullish. So I'm not like when I say, okay, market's going to go higher in general, then if I'm looking for that bullish setup, then I'm looking for bull setups and for things to line up to take the strong, easy to see bull trade. If you waited all day, every day for that particular move and you didn't trade every day, but that's the one trade you found and took, you can make a career out of that one trade every 2 weeks. Matt, you've got some of the best exits you've seen. All right, so there's a lot of fluff out there. More colorful, the better. Well, somebody says they've been burned on previous trading tools. Don't call it waste of money because you learned from it and learned that how garbage tools were. Rocket Scooter is really different. Rocket Scooter empowers you to be a better thinker. The tools we have, the difference is the tools we have rules. Nobody does rules with tools. The tools are always producing signals because they're always looking at the data. Our rules very simply state, don't use this tool when this thing happens. Don't use it when that thing happens. So any kind of rules that you have, no matter what they are, is better than endless amounts of indicators with no rules. To have control that you know when you apply what you do is kind of the key for a start for a career in trading. You have to have rules. You have to be really strict with them. The index divergence rule, genius. I'll do it in the Zoom call today. There's actually a video already in the Discord that goes over that. RS is the only predictive system that follows rules and logic. Every other tool just captures price and volume during the moment historically. Yeah, I'll tell you that. And if anybody ever steps through the woodwork, tries to come and sell you something behind the scenes or whatever, all you have to do is ask them to show you a year's of broker statement. And when they start getting angry and frustrated, you know, then you just block them. You know where that's going. When somebody starts asking me about performance, I usually mid-sentence just drop the statement in front of their face. People go, oh. Oh, okay. Well, maybe there's some merits to this. Let's check it out. My 2023, the entire year 2023, this is it for this streaming trading account. This is from January. This is 2023. I said I would take a 10K account to 100K, then maybe take 100K for. I'd set it at 100K. I'd let people vote what I do. At 100K, what I'm going to do is put some of it in an options account, and I'm going to let the community pick 5 random stocks for me every day, and I'm going to trade with the community picks just to make it harder. Like I want to do challenging feats, right? So I'm gonna let y'all pick 5 stocks every morning for me, and I'll just trade those options. That's kind of the cool challenge you want to commit to, just to show how I can be ultra picky and fast with multiple tickers. Oh, don't give Pandas a hard time. He's just here trying to learn how to make a tech company go viral. Let him learn. Easy to become almost sync but it's completely changed the game for me at least. Appreciate you, Michael. You're just fun. Haters gonna hate. Michael's gonna pay his work. That's hilarious. The green lines SCN come from the bot and Discord. I draw them myself, but the bot calculates where they will be every day for you. I'm one of the few who trades live with no tricks or special effects live every day and never cut out the stream. When I'm losing or winning, I cut out pretty much the same time every day, or if I have a meeting, which is about now, I have to go. So everybody head on over to the Discord. We're going to call it a day.
Somebody says if a big company like Robinhood bought you out, I mean, you could retire for life. Why would I want to retire? What fun is retiring? Why would I want to sell out and retire? Retirement sounds boring. I like to continue changing the world. That would be my goal. I don't think anybody can afford the price I'd be willing to sell Rocket Scooter at. Which means I'm not selling. Can I look at Coca-Cola on monthly map? Yeah, something is up with monthly maps right now. Somehow the coordinate system is not displaying correctly, so I'm not really... So this is something that we're talking about for monthly map. So what we want to do here is, let me get out my handy dandy tool, is to have a monthly map click where you can do all dates, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Friday only, so that you can filter out 0 DTEs if you want to make longer term swing ideas. That's a good one. Zero Hedge is offering a 2-week spot gamma trial. Oh, cool. Companies like Spot Gamma do things pretty good. Like they're kind of one of the founding forces of the options, what I call the options movement. And like I've chatted with the dude before. Great tool, great technology. They're in the same arena as us. Like basically, like the similarities would be like they're cricket and we're baseball. It's a field and a stadium where you hit a ball with a bat and run around. But the games are 100% different. They don't play the same way. But the idea is it's a similar arena. They look at options and try to dictate market behavior from options, realizing that options are forward-looking and technical analysis look in the past. And that's why the whole wave of creating technology looks into the future has been started. So all the most modern technology, right? You know, technical analysis, I mean, RSI was invented like in the 60s, right? I mean, these things are like 60, 70 years old. Or the 70s. Or 50 years old. All modern technology, like in the last 5 to 10 years, especially trading platforms and or modern analysis platforms are leaning towards options because everyone that's smart is realizing that options are forward-looking and the only thing that is predictable is analyzing options in a way that gives you forward-looking information. So I always give credit to Spy Gamer for being one of the godfathers of that movement. And what differs them from us is that we filter all the options very heavily for what we believe are market maker options, and we do our analysis on only market maker options. We exclude a huge majority of the options that come through the order flow, and that's what makes Rocket Gear different than anyone else. We have a technology that doesn't just look at options for forward-looking indication. We exclude a lot of the options that we believe have no merit to that calculation. A lot of our technology is based on exclusion, like we exclude certain things. So the difference between resilience and like any other pivoting indicator is that resilience is just looking for movement inside of the redistribution zone. It doesn't care about anything else. And so where you only monitor or have your tools work under certain conditions, that's kind of the secret. So the options, we only have them analyzed under certain conditions as well. But yeah, Spot Game is cool. I've never used it, but I know what they do. I can look at it and tell what they're trying to do, and it's great analysis. There's
I always give credit to people that are innovating and creating new ways to look at the market. That's always a plus in my book. Their stuff is very much options based, just like we are. Is Zoom call open to everyone? The Zoom calls are for pro or higher for Zoom calls, yeah. So if you're in the pro, which is the extended trial or higher, you'd have access to the Zoom calls, yeah. All right. Give me 1 second, really quick. You have any more questions? Everybody head over to the Discord real quick. We're going to call it a day. Love you guys. Killed it yet again. Almost at the 50K mark on the 10K to 100K challenge. That is the entirety of the year. I think there's only been like 5 losing days since I started that thing. So doing pretty okay. Having a great time. Showing off Rocket Scooter. Monthly maps are out. How exciting. Would you guys come check it out? The extended trial is $35 a month. And you can sit here and go through our entire training program and learn everything we teach for 3 months. Love it, hate it. You'll walk away with some insights you never had before. And we love sharing with you what is we made. We are the fastest growing thing in trading right now. Hard to deny that. We appreciate it. It's all love and support we get from you guys. We're opening big doors this year. I can't wait to share with y'all. But if y'all get into the extended trial, I tell you, you will have a really fun time for practically no expense. $35 a month is like a cocktail at a steakhouse. So come on over. We'll see you guys in a little bit. I'll probably do a Zoom call in about 15 minutes.